And opportunity isn't, we all know, it's not money, right? Money is a resource. Opportunity is that ability to be able to live that best version of yourself. We have this short window of time, and why not take advantage of the opportunity to be the best version of what I can be while I'm out here? And what every single person up here has shared has all been not about how to build a business, but how to live life. It's that one opportunity that I have to go down this path. Why not maximize that? Why take the easy way now and it get hard later? If you're not free, you can't free anybody else. Am I given to the relationships that matter the most in the way I'm supposed to, or am I putting too much of my time, effort, and energy into other areas that don't matter? This month, I'm gonna work on that. Find that one thing. Do one freaking thing this time. Because you've all done stuff before, right? You've gone to conferences, you've been coached, you've talked to your mentors, business partners, whomever, and you said you were gonna do something, and a week later you were back to, it's like it never happened. This time, one thing. You've gotten like 18 different things right here. You can just select one of those. But if you do that, I promise you, what you're gonna see is you're gonna see that improvement in your life. You're gonna see that improvement in the lives of the people around you. And then whenever you get to that end point, you're gonna be like, I may not be that perfect example of what you wanted me to be, but man, I gave you a run for your money, didn't I?
Our next speaker, he is absolutely incredible, and he is the reason that about 98% of the people in this room are even in this room. So please stand to your feet. Let's give a huge round of applause to managing partner, Edward Pritchett.
Good afternoon. All right, SFG free. Everybody here to be free? Now I'm gonna ask you, free from what? No, I'm kidding. Don't think too hard on that just yet. We'll get there. It's an honor, it's a privilege to be able to stand in front of you after 13 years with Symmetry Financial Group, working on 14. I'm trying to catch up to the company, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. I'm gonna fight. I gotta go faster, right? It's really cool just to see everyone here, and I definitely want to give a lot of thanks to Ian, Trey, Jordan. That's why you don't start naming names, because then you start forgetting people, right? Who else am I missing? Tim. Ed and Cicely, like all these people who are sitting up here on the front row, and definitely to a friend, life partner, buddy, so many things I could say about Brian Delaney. You know you really like a guy when you'll get into an airplane and jump out of it with him, right? Like if there was anybody that I was gonna do that with, Brian Delaney is like, I figured like when we were leaving the plane, I was like, if something goes wrong, Brian's gonna be able to maybe fix it. You know? I don't know what he would do, but I was hoping that maybe Brian would be able to fix it. But just so grateful for all of them and what this event means. And I was really thinking about that ideal of free, right? SFG free. And you hear that adage, you know, free people do what? Free people can free people. Why is that? Why is it that free people can free people, but like a captive person, it's kind of hard for a captive person, Trey, to free another captive person. Why is that? There's that, right? But here's the other part of it, right? If you're captive, you're in a cell. You're in a jail cell, right? And this isn't like the Aladdin magical jail cell where the old dude is like, I got this magic key, and we're gonna get you out of here, okay? This is a cell of our own creation. You've heard this throughout the day today, right? You've heard people talk about like, it's about your mind, it's about what you think. It's why when we're talking more about personal development and your personal growth than we're talking about how to sell another policy, right? The policies are needed for what we do, but you can't help someone get financially free if you're not financially free, right? If you're gonna be talking with your clients about how they can protect their family, how they can create legacy for their children, and if something happened, everything would be taken care of. I mean, don't raise your hands, but how many people, just internally raise your hand, how many people would say that if something happened to me today, I know my family is entirely taken care of? Not just like they got a little bit of money, but like everything that they ever want to do in the future is gonna still be able to happen because of what I've done and what I've built for them. And I would say, and I say this because I have to ask myself that question. And when I think about that question, I know that I'm part of the way there, but I'm not all the way there. I'm not all the way there, right? Because if something did happen to me, my wife's gonna have to figure out a whole bunch really quickly. And so it's made me start asking some questions of myself. Like, if I'm gonna get up here and talk to you about being free, how free am I? So is it okay for me to just share a little bit? Like, this is kind of like not the Dorado Beach, jumping out of airplanes, fancy resorts all the time. This is not that conversation. This is about what the journey actually is. Because it's great to have the awards, but I would tell you, everyone who came up here and got a reward, an award, they've been fighting something. They've been in a battle. They've been going through it. And you may be sitting there thinking that I'm the only one going through it. I'm the only one whose bank account is $51.12 today. I'm the only one who's just trying to figure out, okay, whenever I get back from this, how I'm gonna pay the bills that are sitting out there. Even though while I'm here, I'm trying to be here. You're trying to be engaged. You're trying to be present, but that's still there when you get home, right? We're all going home, right? Nobody is staying here at this hotel after Sunday, right? I mean, if you want to, you can, but we're going home. And when we go home, we're gonna walk back into it. So here recently, I was doing a lot of traveling, and I knew the first part of this year was gonna be it's wake up, get in the car, drive to the San Juan airport. Thank God for Clear, I just breezed through. I love Clear. I didn't think it was really worth it at first, but Clear is that's pretty cool. I cut the lines. I like cutting lines. Like I'm becoming more Puerto Rican because like Puerto Ricans cut lines. Puerto Ricans don't wait. I'm telling you, they don't wait. They get in front. All right. So I'm just trying to do it in a legal, like kind of proper way. But I knew that this was what was getting ready to happen. There's going to be a lot of waking up, a lot of going to the airport, getting on an airplane, flying, talking, working, building, growing, all right? I do it for me. I do it for my business. I do it for each one of you to be able to have your business, because if your business grows, I know my business grows, right? So like there's reason, there's purpose. I take pride in being able to do that. And I was looking around and I was like, well, we got all these business trips, and yeah, we have some summer trips planned with the family and with the kids. But my wife and I were talking, and we're like, what have we done lately? Like there was a time, and guys, think back to this, when, I got out of the car and ran around real quick and opened the door for Rebecca, right? There was a time when, I would just, oh, there's some flowers at Ingles. Let me grab those flowers and bring them home, right? Let me cook dinner tonight. Nobody else remembers those times? Is it that far gone for some of y'all? Maybe some of you are still doing it, which is great. Hopefully you are, right? But then what happens? You have one kid, then two come at the same time. Learn something new there. That can happen. So for all you young couples, y'all be ready. And she gets into her role and I get into mine. Right? That's kind of the pattern. This pattern isn't just in what we do in our love life and our marriages and our relationships, but that's the pattern you and your parents' relationship, your relationship with your siblings, right? You know, have any of y'all seen those charts of like the amount of time that children spend with their parents? You know, it usually peaks right around 18 and then it drops off how much time you spend with your parents. And so the relationship shifts, it changes, right? So we were going through this place where our relationship was like, you know, it was kind of cool during COVID. I was working at home and, you know, we were together all the time. In a good way, most of the time. And I think for a lot of us, and maybe some of you can think about this for yourself, a lot of us when we were with our spouse, with our family during that period, we just kind of, that substituted working on the relationship because we were with them all the time. We thought we were still working on the relationship, but we really weren't, right? We were just stuck in the house together. So we made a decision. We had been going to this marriage conference for, I think we looked back, the first one we went to was in 2017. And we've done it a couple other times. And they were having one in Greenville. It was right after the Ignite conference. And, you know, I was in Dallas. Rebecca was in Puerto Rico. She flew up to Greenville, South Carolina. And I flew in from Dallas straight to Greenville. And we go to this marriage conference. And, you know, marriage conferences, right? It was right around Valentine's Day. So there's like heart-shaped balloons everywhere, red and pink everywhere, glitter all over the place. It was fun, right? Like we were like, there were like little dance breaks. And, you know, we kind of do, like we didn't have a money booth. That would have really spiced up the marriage conference. But, you know, it was fun. It was exciting. It was engaging. And we started to do some actual work, right? And that's when it got real. And there's this one exercise that they had us do. And they said, you know, I want you to hold your partner's hands and look at them in the eye and just start to apologize. Said, guys, go first, because we have a long list, right? So just start to apologize and just let it happen, right? Don't think about what you're apologizing for. Just, you know the list, just start going down that list. And so I started talking to Rebecca and I was just, you know, the little things, you know, sorry I, you know, don't, well, you know, we won't go through my list, but I had my list and I'm going through it. And this thing started to happen where, because I was actually communicating with my partner, that I started to uncover some things. And it wasn't coming out in my words, but it was just, have you ever had your brain where your brain's just kind of rolling and you're just thinking and then stuff starts to surface that you weren't really thinking about, but it's starting to come up and then you just say something. And as soon as you say it, you recognize the truth in what you just said. Like if you've never had that experience with someone in a relationship, try that. Try that. And I'll get to why I'm telling you this story here in just a minute. But what came to my mind was, I said, you know what, I'm sorry that I work on my business more than our relationship. And I had to, like, when that came out, it tore me up. Because I've been putting blood, sweat, and tears into, and remember, hear how I said it, my business. I said my business, not our business. I'm sorry that I've been working on my business more than our relationships. Like, we're here to bring value to the things that matter the most in our life. When Drew was talking earlier about, like, what are those things that are your defining and clear purposes, right? And I've always thought and said and spoken that I build my business for my family, right? But I had to take a step back and answer a real question to myself. Why was I really doing this? Was I really doing it for my family or for my ego? Because I wanted to have a big business. I wanted to be wealthy. I wanted to, be the big businessman, and all this stuff that I saw on TV growing up and what culture tells us that a man is supposed to be. And in that moment, I was able to realize that if I am not willing to work on what I value, say I value the most, do I really value it? And it gave me a moment to just reconnect and say, you know what I do value the most is my family. And so now in this, and it was a very emotional state for me. Most of you who know me and know me well, I don't do emotion often. I do emotion, but I just keep it in a little box. But I'm starting to learn how to, we're taking the emotion out of the box now. I started to just really make this pact with myself that if this is who I say I'm going to be, if this is who I'm putting out there and saying, I am going to do this, I'm building this so that I can leave a legacy. So that when I'm talking to my clients about the legacy that they should be leaving, that I'm doing it authentically. And I told Rebecca in that moment, like as we went through the rest of that weekend, is that's decision, right? It's a cut, right? It's not, I'm still thinking about doing it or not, right? When you decide that you're going to do something different, it's done. And now you can argue about, and I won't get into habits and addictions and this, that, and the other. I get it. But when you've made a decision and said, there's no way I'm going back to that, it's not even a choice. There's no other action you can take when you've decided that you're going to be X, Y, Z. And for me, it was going to be someone who actually values his family first and foremost, and the relationship with my wife is the paramount part of the family that we have. If that relationship does not matter, I could try to be the best father in the world that I could, but what am I showing my children, right? So I say all this because you have to make a decision. If you're really going to help people, if you're really going to free people, what are those things that are still binding you, right? What are those things? Brad was talking about it earlier as far as just that mindset, right? Limiting beliefs are the thing that keep you exactly where you are, and why does that same thing keep happening? Why does that same mistake keep happening? Why do I always keep being in debt, right? Why do people always run away from me? Why do, put whatever you want to in that. And the reason that happens is because you haven't changed who you are. And if we're really going to free people, we have to constantly be looking at ourselves and working on what are those things that are still binding me? What are those things that are still keeping me locked up? Why isn't my business doing $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 a month, right? There's something that it just has its grips on you. And all I have to do is make a decision that that's not going to be it anymore. I know, Edward, you're making it sound really simple and easy. It sounds simple and easy. But what we have to do is find a way to get into that place, right? And I found that by being able to speak with my partner, she's my partner in life. This is our business, okay? This is not my business anymore. Now we have, just in the last 2 weeks, I know it's only been 2 weeks, you're like, well, talk to us in about 6 months and let me know how it's going. I look forward to talking to you in 6 months and letting you know how it goes. Because things are changing in the Pritchett household, right? I get it. I have a business that's demanding of me, and men typically speak 5,000 to 7,000 words. I looked up the data, and there's 18 different reports about this, so I don't know which one is true. But the ideal is that men use a certain number of words and women have a whole bunch more in their word take, right? Okay, we all fundamentally, we get that. And so one of the things, and this is just the small thing that I've started to do, is I know I have to talk a lot during my work day. But you know who I need to have something to take left for when I get home? My partner. She needs her words, right? Men, if you're in this business and you have a partner at home, they need your words. if you want them to be able to support what you're doing. Women who are in this business, you have a partner too, right? He needs your words, but you have to be, there has to be communication there. There has to be that understanding so that if you're building this together, you can actually build it together. So this is just one example, right? When I'm talking about this, this is just one example of one piece of being free that, I mean, I've been on this journey for 13 years now, and I'm still learning some crazy new stuff all the time because I'm willing to reach out, and this conference is great, but what are the other areas of your life that you're saying you want to add value to, right? I get it. We have to make an income. You got to pay your bills. You want to live, most of us want to live in a house, right? Like you like a house, you like a bed. It's fun to, turn on AC. Like AC is a nice luxury, right? Like you don't want to have to or I guess for you guys now it's like the heaters, right? You got to have a heater on up here. It's cold in Orlando. I don't get it. Puerto Rico is doing a lot of different things to me. I'll just say it. So if you're wanting to make the kind of impact that this conference is talking about, really being able to free other people, guys, we get an opportunity to free our clients from so many different things, right? Dying without dignity, debt, actually being able to retire. Like I was able just this past week working with a client, and we moved $1 million in his IRA into an account, and now he and his wife are going to get paid $72,000 a year for the rest of their life, and he is only 60 years old. How crazy is that? That's the value we get to add. But we have to be in a place where we can freely operate in order to give that freedom. Same thing for the agents that you hire. If you can't talk with them about not just the business struggles, but the life struggles, because guess what? The life struggles are going to happen. I hate to tell you, if you're hiring people, you're going to get a minor at least in psychology, all right? But if you're not working on your minor in psychology, if you're not doing stuff for yourself, how can you even make a recommendation to help somebody else get out of their jail cell if you're still trapped in yours? This is where we have to spend time looking internally so that we can project everything the external world needs. If you fix inside, if you work on that, if you make that your passion, that I'm working to free myself from the things. Like for me, again, I didn't think ego was an issue for me, Trey. But in that one moment, because I was working on me, I came to the realization. And I said, you know what? We can fix this. We can decide and we can make it better from here on forward. So that's my challenge to you. As you go through the rest of today, as you listen in the breakouts, use this as a time to look inward and find those things that are still binding you and get free. Because when you get free, there's nothing like the taste of freedom whenever you've walked out of that jail cell. And that goes for physical jail cells, but man, the mental ones, it's a whole new world. Get free, guys. Thank you.